Rainwater harvesting brought to you by Arizona Unplugged. So here's a couple of tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the years. This is what's been working best for me, and maybe you guys can use some of these tips to help you out, especially if you're in an area like we are that does get snow and freezing weather every year. So I've repaired this section probably about 3 times. Bursted pipes, broken valves, all that good stuff. And I finally decided on doing it this way for the simple fact that the reason why pipes burst when it gets cold is because they're full of water, and when water freezes it expands. And this copper, even though it's tough, and this brass, even though it's strong, there's no way this stuff can protect itself against bursting. The pressure exerted by freezing water is extreme. I'm talking it will pretty much break anything. So what I've done here is I put these 1-inch stainless steel flex lines. These are typically used in commercial water heater applications, but I got a bunch of them for all my tanks. All my tanks here on the property are set up like this. So when we're in freezing temperature, I just disconnect this nut, let the water drain out so it's empty, and of course on both sides, and I leave it. I leave it until the freezing weather's over, and then I hook it back up. So it has worked well this last year since I finally did it like this. I had it before just all hard piped. I also had a union on each side to disconnect it for future repairs, but this replaces the union, because we have the 2 nuts, and this way works out really well. You'll also notice, well, I don't know if you'll be able to see, yeah, you can probably see here, I have all these pipes sloping down. This slopes down this way, and this side slopes down this way. That way a puddle of water doesn't sit there even after this is disconnected and break my pipe. So this has worked out really well, guys, doing it this way. It makes repairs a snap. You just take these off just with a crescent wrench, and you can get to everything here. Here's one tip also that a lot of people don't tell you. A lot of people actually don't know it, but I do, because I'm a plumber. So when this is disconnected and the water drains from here, we still have water from here to here. You don't really, well, we don't have to worry about that because it's 2,500 gallons of water. It's a lot of thermal mass. This won't freeze. It's too close. This pipe is too close to this. This actually keeps this warm. So there's that. And also be very careful. A lot of people will put a brass nipple right here. This is a Schedule 80 PVC nipple. The reason why this is here and not brass is because plastic and brass, when it gets cold or when it gets hot, expands and contracts at different rates. Different material, different expansion, contraction rates. So if this was brass and this got cold, it can actually damage the bulkhead. It could actually crack it because this is expanding different at a different rate than this, and that will cause leaks. It'll cause breaks. So I have not had any issues whatsoever for all the years that we've had this system going on with a leak between here and here. It just doesn't happen. This thermal mass keeps us warm. This thing expands and contracts at nearly the same rate, so hasn't been any issues. So this is my setup here. It's worked out really well. Very simple. Much more simple than the first setup that I had that didn't work. It failed miserably, actually. Being from San Diego, we don't deal with freezing pipes, but here in northern Arizona we do. So it's a learning curve thing. So there you go. Just a couple quick tips. If you guys have any questions about rainwater catchment, throw them down here in the comments. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. And one last thing before I end, if you do have rainwater catchment, make sure you install a first flush system. I just took this cap off of another tank in a different area of the property, and this is why you have a first flush system. This is bugs, dirt, pollen, bird poop, on all the gunk that would have ended up in my tank if I did not have this. So this is why you do a first flush, guys. That's some nasty stuff. You don't want that in your water. Even if you filter it, it's gross. It's kind of just nastiness that you don't want in your water. So just a recommendation. I use this as a cap because I didn't have a gym cap at the time, so I just kind of made one with parts I have here. This is a 2-inch Fernco with a 2-inch plug, and it works fine. It's been here for a couple years, and just gonna leave it. But yeah, that's why we do a first flush, guys. That's what it looks like if you don't. That will be in your water if you don't have a first flush. So there you go. A little bit about my rain harvesting setup here. These 2 tanks, this one and that one, are 2 out of 5 tanks that I have here. I've got 4 of these, and then I've got 1 550-gallon tank, making a total combined tankage of 10,550 gallons. And I actually at some point want to double that. I want to have over 20,000 gallons of water. And remember, this is all rainwater. Every single drop is rainwater, and it's worked out really well for us. So first flush, pretty important, and then removable flex lines to help protect your system. It works out really well. And remember, Schedule 80 PVC. Do not use a brass nipple. Use plastic going into a plastic tank. Very important. So there you go, guys. See you on the next one.